Can you see me? Well, thank you. This might sound like the first line of a typical Zoom call, but I am asking you seriously, can you see me? There are two ways how to answer this question. The straightforward one is a simple yes. But if I left my answer there, this would be the shortest TED Talk ever. The more complex way how to answer this question is not really. And let me walk you through that today. So you can obviously see me. I am standing here on stage. I am wearing this pink dress, and I am even wearing something weird on top of my head. And if we switch the views, we can argue that you can see me more than what you have signed up for this morning. Because that is my brain, and my brain activity live-streamed real life. So now that we took such an intimate look into me, maybe it is time that I introduce myself. My name is Vivien. I am a data science graduate from Harvard University, and I do research for NASA. And I research the invisible. And today, we are going to depart from this stage, go through the history of human perception. We will go to outer space. Somehow, randomly, we are going to meet Leonardo DiCaprio on the way, and then come back to this stage. And by the end of my speech, you will believe that you cannot actually see me. So returning to my brain, you can see that it is being very, very busy right now. Busier than what I expected, actually. It is It is busy because of three reasons. Number one, because I am talking here using big hand movements, and that's obviously a task hard to execute for the brain. And if I do something even harder, I will do jumping jacks, you will see that my brain is going to kind of explode. So let's see if I can do jumping jacks in a high heel and mini skirts. All right, so let's see if it actually works. Yes, it does. OK, so that's one reason why my brain is so busy. The second reason is that I am obviously freaking out right now. I'm giving a TEDx talk to all these people, and that emotional stress is reflected in my brain. But the third reason, and the most important one why my brain is so busy, is because my eyes are open. I am looking at your beautiful faces. I am trying to look into the camera every once in a while. And that is one of the biggest activity that the brain executes. So if we switch back the view, and I take this off, I hope it didn't mess up my hair too much. So about 30% of our brain activity is dedicated into processing vision in one way or another. And to demonstrate it to you, did it ever happen to you that you had a long day at work, you drove back home at night, you arrived back home, and you cannot really recall your driving back home? Well, it may feel like to you that your brain went on autopilot, but the truth is that your brain was working very, very hard keeping you alive. It was processing all the visual clues around you. It was processing the red light, the pedestrians, the other cars. So it makes sense that 30% of our brain is dedicated into vision. But if we dedicate so many resources, what percentage of reality do you think we can actually see? Is it 100%, 80%, 50, 20%, 5%, even less than that? Well, the truth is that we can see only 0.035% of reality. We are literally just peeking through a tiny hole, trying to understand what is happening around us. If you had 1 day to live, this means that you have vision for 3 seconds only. Not only are we bad at perceiving the reality around us, but our brain also plays tricks on us. I heard some of you are laughing. You probably know this. But I am curious, what is the color of this dress for you? Please raise your hand if it is white and gold for you. OK, about 40%, I think, of the audience. And please raise your hand if it is blue and black for you. OK, about 60% of the audience. Raise your hand if it's a totally different color for you. OK, no one. But apparently, for some people, it's a different color. So I don't know what's wrong with them. So my point is that we are not great at perceiving reality. Our saving grace, though, is that we do know about it ourselves. So about 2,500 years ago, Plato during the ancient Greek period, he already pointed out that we are very bad at this stuff. He put it very nicely, though. The way he put it is that we perceive only the shadows of reality. And he was very right about it. So let me introduce you the theory of light. Light are basically just waves that are represented here in white. And in the middle of it, you can see the colors of the rainbow. That is something that we called visible light. We call it visible light because it is visible to us humans. So we named it very, very egoistically. And me, in a Saturday morning in a science museum in a hoodie, this is how I look like under visible light. Next to the red, there is something that it is called infrared, and most mosquitoes see in infrared. And how I look like to a mosquito, you wonder? This is how I look like to a mosquito. Which makes sense because they love to snack on my warm blood. So evolution made them able to find their next dinner. On the other end of the spectrum, next to violet, it is something that it is called ultraviolet, and most rabbits see in ultraviolet, or sense ultraviolet. And the way I look like to a rabbit, get ready, this is going to be a scary picture even though I am smiling, is something like this. So it makes sense that the Easter Bunny never visited me. There is a lot of stuff happening outside of this spectrum, but let's just focus here, because I only have 18 minutes to talk. So we already knew 2,500 years ago that we are not great at perceiving reality. It took us over a millennia to come up with the first device to sharpen what we can already perceive. So it was 700 years ago, during the early Renaissance period, that we came up with the first tool to sharpen our reality, and those were the glasses. Several other hundreds of years passed. It was 200 years ago, during the early Industrial Revolution, that we came up with the first devices that for the first time ever widened our perception of reality. For the first time, we could sense infrared and ultraviolet. Several other hundreds of years passed, and NASA combined this reality into a device and sent it to outer space. It is now a satellite that has been going around Earth in the past 1.5 years. And now you may ask, what is the point of seeing Earth through the eyes of a mosquito and through the eyes of the Easter Bunny? Let me show it to you. So this is the Eastern USA. We are obviously up there in Boston. And this is how an astronaut would see us from space, which makes sense. The ocean is blue, as expected. However, how this satellite sees the same thing from space is something like this. There is this bright green and bright pink thing floating on top of the ocean. And that is created by a creature that lives in this water glass. Can you see it? No, you cannot. That's the whole point. We cannot see it with the naked eye. This creature is called phytoplankton. This is how it is written, and this is how it looks like. You can think of it as a tiny plant that lives in water bodies everywhere on Earth. It lives in the icy waters of Antarctica. It lives in the Niagara Falls. It even lives in raindrops. In fact, if you went down here in Boston to the Charles River and took a spoon of water, there would be thousands, if not millions, of phytoplankton in it, because it is the most abundant creature on Earth. This is how many of them live right now. It's 10 to the 30th. This has a number that is called 1 nonillion. And so for you, it might be the first time that you ever hear of phytoplankton. And for me, it was the first time 2 years ago. But that is actually not true, because there is one phytoplankton that is famous. Because that specific phytoplankton is a movie star. It starred with Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie The Beach from the early 2000s. And here we can see Leo with his love interest swimming in the beautiful waters. And you can see these shiny little particles on top of the water. That is a type of phytoplankton that when disturbed, it becomes visible to us because it starts emitting a light. But the moment we stop disturbing them, they again exit our reality because they stop being visible to us. They are only visible at that point for the satellites. So there are many different types of phytoplankton. There are curvy ones, roundy ones, fluffy ones, and many other. And they are all responsible for something different. For instance, in this case, the green ones are responsible for feeding oceanic animals, including your favorite seafood, so we are all a little bit phytoplankton inside. Where the pink ones are helping us moderate the climate. So the beauty of this satellite and the beauty of being able to extend our reality is that we can model it globally. Here what you can see are 4 different main phytoplankton types, and you can see that they thrive around different parts of the Earth. There are some that really love the icy waters of Antarctica for whatever reason. So you may ask yourself, okay, this is very nice, but what do you have to do with a satellite and with this knowledge? So I invite you to reflect again whether you can see me. So just focusing back on what we can perceive without a satellite, because I imagine many of you don't have a satellite at home. This is how I look like on a different conference, same dress, to a person with a normal vision. However, about 5 to 10% of the population are colorblind. So for many of them, I am not even wearing a pink dress anymore. Women see completely differently than men. Women would see me something like this because they are more detail-oriented, they are better at reading facial expressions. Men, on the other hand, they have somewhat of a wider vision and they are better at detecting movement from the corner of their eyes. Younger people see very, very sharp and very, very saturated, versus older adults see less saturated and more blurry. So let me compare how I see myself versus how my mentor sees me, who helped me put together this presentation. I'm a woman, I have normal vision, this is how I see myself. He is a man, he has color blindness, and he's a little bit older, so he has blurry vision. It is as if we were living in 2 different realities. And then returning to this dress, I'm curious, did the color of the dress change for any of you, or you still, it changed it for you? Can I ask what was before and what was after?
It went from white to blue.
Okay. So that is normal, because as I mentioned, we are not good at perceiving reality, and that you could see before that half of you saw it white, and the other half of you saw it blue. The truth is that the dress is actually blue, so if you saw it white before, that was your brain just playing a trick on you. So I hope you see it as blue now, but just to demonstrate how people see it who see it white, it looks something like this. So all this to demonstrate that whenever you feel like that you don't understand someone or you don't understand someone around you, just ask, what is it that you cannot see? So I hope I proved that you cannot really see me, and that's a good thing, because curiosity lives in the unseen, and that's where discovery begins. Thank you very much.